Is there anything more frustrating than a computer that just decides it's not going to cooperate? Well, in this explainer, we're going to tackle some of those really common tech headaches, and more importantly, show you how to take back control. Let's get right into it. Okay, first up, let's talk about the clock. Does your computer seem to be living in a totally different time zone? You keep fixing it, but it just won't stick to the right time? Or how about this one? That sinking feeling in your stomach when you know you saved that important file, but now, poof, it's just vanished into thin air. And of course, the absolute classic moment of panic. You go to move your mouse and nothing. The cursor is just frozen on the screen and you're suddenly locked out of your own machine. If any of that sounds familiar, then this explainer is definitely for you. We're going to break down the solutions to these problems step by step. And trust me, they're often way simpler than you'd think. The goal here is to make you feel a whole lot more confident using your computer. All right, the first step to taming your tech is really about making it your own. We're going to start by customizing your digital world, and you'll be pretty surprised at what a huge difference a few simple tweaks can make. So the whole world is divided into these time zones for, legal and social reasons. Your computer needs to know which one you're in to stay in sync with everything. If you just tell it your location, it won't just set the right time, it'll actually keep the right time, which is the important part. And you might think, the clock is just for me, but it's actually super crucial for your computer's health. Your operating system uses the correct time and date to manage software updates, to schedule tasks, and even to validate software licenses. So a wrong clock can cause this whole cascade of weird hidden errors. It's a similar story with currency. Have you ever noticed your computer defaulting to, say, dollars or euros when you actually work in rupees? Well, that's usually because it's set to the country where the operating system was originally made. But just like the time, this is a really easy fix right in your settings. And honestly, taking just a moment to set your number and currency formats correctly will save you so many headaches later on. It's essential for everything from your spreadsheets to online shopping, making sure all your data is accurate and compatible no matter where you use it. Okay, so now that your computer is set up for your specific location, let's talk about organizing your digital life. In this next part, we're going to dive into how to manage your most important asset, your files. So every single file on your computer has something called attributes. The easiest way to think of this is like the label on a physical file folder. This label tells you everything you need to know: the file's name, its type, like is it a document or an image, how big it is, where it's stored, and even when it was created or last changed. Now, file permissions, these are basically like a digital lock and key. By setting a file to read-only, for instance, you can protect it from being accidentally changed or even deleted. It's a super simple but really powerful security feature that's usually just a right-click away in your file's properties. But what happens when you can't even find the file in the first place? Come on, we've all been there. You know you saved it somewhere. This is exactly where your computer's built-in search function becomes your absolute best friend. And that search tool is way more powerful than you might realize. Even if you only remember a tiny piece of the file name, you can probably still find what you're looking for. You can also search by the file type, like putting in .doc if you know it's a Word document, or even by the date you last worked on it. All right, now for our final section. Think of this as a first aid kit for those moments when your hardware just seems to give up on you. This is all about simple physical checks that you can do all by yourself. Here it is, the golden rule of hardware troubleshooting. Always start with the most obvious thing. Before you even think about panicking, just check the cable. Is it plugged in securely on both ends? To do that, of course, you need to know your ports. Technology is always changing to make our lives easier. Just take a look at the difference here between the older VGA port, which only carries video, and the modern HDMI port, which handles both high-def video and audio all in one convenient cable. And it's the exact same story for your keyboard and mouse. We've gone from these old color-coded PS2 ports, remember, purple for the keyboard, green for the mouse, to the one port that does it all, USB, the Universal Serial Bus. It has made connecting stuff so much easier. So this simple checklist is basically your first line of defense against those hardware headaches. Blank screen? Check the monitor cable. Mouse not working? Check the mouse cable. No internet? Check that Ethernet cable. A loose connection is, more often than not, the real culprit. And there you have it. You've just learned some of the absolute basics of troubleshooting, from software settings all the way to hardware connections. So now it's your turn to explore. what's the very first thing you're going to try out on your own computer? Thanks for watching and happy computing!